We're going to play one more Nintendo Wii U game, and that's going to be Jeopardy. So let's see how we do. And most importantly, let's have a good game.
This is Jeopardy! Please welcome our contestants. Player one. Player two. Player three. And now, here is the host of Jeopardy, Alex Trebek.
Thank you, Johnny Gilbert, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Let's take you right now into the Jeopardy round. Clues are worth $200 to $1,000 in these categories. Word up. Biblical abominations. How about a little romance language? How's the weather? College team nicknames. And American history? Player one. This famous transaction in 1803 doubled the territory of the U.S. Player one? You are correct. In the 1760s, he and Charles Mason used milestones to mark the boundary line between Maryland and Pennsylvania. Let's hear it, player one. That's correct. The Watergate scandal led to the resignation of this U.S. president in 1974. Okay, player one. Yep. In the 1830s, some 4,000 members of this Indian tribe died during a forced march known as the Trail of Tears. Let's hear it, player one. Correct. Reconstruction refers to the period of readjustment and rebuilding after this war. Yes, player one? Right. Player one, UC Berkeley's teams are known as the Golden These. Yes, player one? Right. Please pick again. Leviticus chapter 11 says, most insects that creep or fly are an abomination, but this 8th plague is kosher. Okay, player one? Yes. Leviticus chapter 11 verse 13 declares that this bird of prey, later a symbol of Roman legions, is an abomination. Let's hear it, player one. Right. Player one. Potpourri is not mentioned, but this burning perfume is an abomination according to Isaiah chapter 1 verse 13. Yes, player one? That's it. Answer. It's the Daily Double. You are in the lead, right? Answer. Leviticus chapter 11 verse 10 says, all that have not fins and these in the seas shall be an abomination. Sorry. Here's what we wanted. Scales. We're in Genesis chapter 46 verse 34. Every shepherd is an abomination unto this kingdom that was known as Kemet. Player one? No. Sorry. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Okay, player two. Good. All right, let's get back into this. Player two has control. Around the Vatican, you might be able to practice this source language of all Romance languages. It's player one. That's it. Of Catalan, Bulgarian, or Romanian, the one that is not a Romance language. Okay, player one. Correct. It's the most widely spoken Romance language in the world. Okay, player one. Sorry. Any other takers? We're talking about Spanish. Ligurian, Lombard, and Piedmontese are all dialects of this Romance language. Let's hear it, player one. Good. Selecting this extinct Romance language of Croatia shares its name with a dog breed. Let's hear it, player one. That's correct. On the plus side again. Player one. Pepperdine's nickname is this, and some lap not too far away from the campus. Let's hear it, player one. Sorry, that's wrong. Anyone else? We're talking about the waves. This word describing Penn State's lions comes from an Algonquian term meaning single mountain. Player one? That's not it. Any other takers? Here's the correct response. Nittany. Player one. This University of Idaho nickname is from an old Germanic tribe whose name has come to mean troublemakers. Player one? Nope. Sorry. Anyone else? Player three? Sorry, that's wrong. Anyone else? Yes, player two. You are correct. Player two, make a selection, please, as we continue. The University of Texas at Arlington uses this nickname, shared by the NBA team closest to them. Let's hear it, player one. Right, you're out of the hole. Player one. Longer autumn nights let the ground cool, producing condensation, and the ground type of this. Okay, player one. Yep. September 4th, 2007 was the first time that two of these, Henriette and Felix, made landfall on the same day. Let's hear it, player one. Right. Mountain passes speed up hot, dry air, giving this U.S. state its Santa Ana winds. Okay, player one. Nope. Any other takers? Okay, player 2. Yep. Player 2, start us. Change your attitude, or rather one letter in attitude, to get this word meaning height. It's player 1. Right. Player 1. It's what we call a word that has the same meaning as another word. Okay, player 1. Right you are. Player this 1. Word can mean a hole or any hollow place, especially in a tooth. It's player 1. Yeah, good. It's one of the bones of the forearm, or a line from the center of a circle to the circumference. Player 1? Right. You, from the Latin for kidnapper, it means to take someone else's ideas or writings and pass them off as your own. Yes, player 1? Hey, you're right. Select again. The forecast is cloudy with a 30% chance of these, characterized by the sudden start and stop of light rainfall. Okay, player 1. You got it. And we'll wrap up the board with this clue. High clouds may bring this type of damaging precipitation, especially to the alley for it in the Rockies. Let's hear it, player 1. Yes! Player 3 is going first in the Double Jeopardy round, which starts after this. And we have 2 daily doubles awaiting you in these categories. Classic Kids Lit. The meaning of the prefix. U.S. City History. TV Math. This Side of Parasites. And Countries by Newspaper. Player 3, start us. Fred McMurray's Title Sons minus Paul Reiser's Title Dads. It's player 1. Hey, you're right. Colonel Steve Austin's Title Worth, plus the amount of title days at a time for Bonnie Franklin. Let's hear it, player 1. Yes. John Ritter's sitcom Simple Rules for Dating My Teenage Daughter times John Ritter's sitcom Company. Let's hear it, player 1. That's correct. You careful. Tina Fey's Title Rock minus Ashton Kutcher's Title Men. It's player 1. Yep. Hawkeye's unit number in MASH plus John Lithgow's Title Rock from the Sun. Let's hear it, player 1. Right. We return to you, player 1. This story begins, all children except one grow up. Yes, player 1? Right. In a novel by Frances Hodgson Burnett, 7-year-old Cedric Errol inherits a title and is known as Little Lord This. Okay, player 1? That is correct. This classic is the first book in Madeleine L'Engle's Time Quartet. It's player 1. Correct. Completes the title of a classic about an African-American family, Roll of Thunder. Let's hear it, player 1. Good for you. The Black Pearl and Island of the Blue Dolphins are two classics by him. It's player one. Correct. Player one. The Sydney Morning Herald, the Queensland Independent. Player one. Yep. The Shizuoka Shimbun, the Nikan Ubejiho. Let's hear it, player one. That's it. Avanti, Il Messaggero. Player one. Correct. Player one. Answer, the first of the daily doubles. And you have the lead. Here is your daily double clue. Haaretz Ma'ariv. You have maintained your lead. Way to go. Yelens Posten, Politiken. Player one. Correct. Select again. Hemi. It's player one. Hey, you're right. Player one, as in Dicephalus. Let's hear it, player one. Hey, you're right. Contra. Let's hear it, player one. That's correct. Anti. Okay, player one. That's not it. Any other takers? The correct response is before. Player one. Circum. Yes, player one. That's right. Way to go. You again, player one. When a tiny parasite enters an oyster's shell, mantle cells cover it with nacre until this is formed. Yes, player one. Good. This plant grows as a parasite on apple tree trunks, blooms in February and March, yet still is a factor in Christmas kisses. Yes, player one? You got it. PSI is a charity delivering nets to fight this parasite-caused disease that kills 3,000 African children a day. Let's hear it, player one. Good. Player one. You can vent this soft ductless organ that fights infection with parasite detection. Let's hear it, player one. Good for you. Closely related to meningitis, this inflammation of the brain can result from viral infections or tiny parasites. Player one? Yep. Selecting. This Missouri city wasn't named for Scott or Janice, but for the Reverend Harris G., an early settler there. Okay, player one? That's correct. 2 months before the Declaration of Independence, the Rhode Island Independence Act was signed in this city. Okay, player one? Yes. Answer. The other daily double. And you're in the lead now. Please enter your wager. Here is your daily double clue. It was Arizona's territorial capital from 1867 to 1877. and a university was founded there in 1885. Congratulations, you're still in first, player one. Indianapolis was laid out in a wheel pattern inspired by this other major city some 500 miles away. Okay, player one. You are correct. Now let's take a look at that $2,000 clue, shall we? Let's take it over to Jimmy.
It was uninhabited when it was chosen as a territorial capital in 1836 and named for a president who died that year.
Player one? Yes. Oh, sorry. Player three, you'll not be progressing to Final Jeopardy. This is the Final Jeopardy category for today. Poets. What are you going to wager? Let's take a look at that Final Jeopardy clue right now. Fired from a job for laziness, he wrote, "I lean and loaf at my ease, observing a spear of summer grass." What did you put as your response? And that will set you back. Did you come up with the correct response? With that correct response, you will gain.
So you offer another game.
Yeah!
Congratulations, player one. You're the winner. Thanks for playing, everybody. See you next time.